Okay, so I'm going to develop a Fourier representation of aperiodic signals. Okay, now I'm going to take two values. Okay, so I'm going to start with the same thing here, so that I did in the previous session. So I'm going to take a periodic signal. Okay, so this is my x of t. So this is minus t1 to t1. Okay, so I'm going to keep this constant. So this is t naught. So now t naught, I'm going to take it as 1 milliseconds. Okay, right, and I'll have something at 2 milliseconds. Okay, so the same thing on the left hand side at minus 1 millisecond, at minus 2 millisecond, right, so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. It's a periodic signal, so this goes on till infinity. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to calculate omega naught. Okay, so it is 2 pi by 1 millisecond, right, so which is 2 pi kilo radians per second. Okay, 2 pi into 10 raised to 3 radians per second. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make this periodic signal aperiodic. Okay, so how to make it aperiodic? So I'm going to increase this value of t naught, right, so till t naught goes to infinity, and when t naught goes to infinity, so these things will not be visible, these will be out of picture, and what remains is this part. Okay, now if I go on increasing this, so let's make it say 4. Okay, and let's see what will happen. Okay, so if I make it 4, this will be 8, so this will be minus 4, this will be minus 8, so on and so forth, minus 8 milliseconds, minus 4 milliseconds. Okay, now, okay, so I had drawn the spectrum in the previous case, right, as a function of k. Now I'm not going to make it a function of k, right, I'm going to make it a function of k omega naught. Okay, or k omega, because now since I'm changing the time period of the signal, right, so the value of omega naught keeps on changing, right, so my omega 1 now becomes what, right, so I'll call it as let's keep it as t naught dash. So omega naught dash becomes 2 pi by, right, so 2 pi by, which is nothing but pi by 2 into 10 raised to 3 radians per second. Okay, so I'm increasing the time period here. Okay, so what is happening to the frequency, right, so the frequency is getting reduced. Okay, so that is obviously so there is an inverse relation, so this you had seen it coming, right, so these are AKs, right, so the black ones represent the AKs corresponding to case 1. Okay, so when I draw k omega naught, right, so you had these values. Okay, right, they are equidistant. Okay, so this was corresponding to a naught. Okay, so the case 1, right, the one that I am writing with black corresponding to case 1. Okay, so what was a1, right, so since it is k omega naught, the axis is not k now, it is k omega, right, so it is 1 into 2 pi, this is the coefficient corresponding to 1 into 2 pi radians per second, right, so I am going to include 10 raised to 3 here, so to avoid cluttering it, so this is 4 pi into 10 raised to 3 radians per second, this is 6 pi into 10 raised to 3 radians per second, so on and so forth. Now when I increase the time period, okay, what happens is, so there will be intermediate coefficients, right? So what will come here is, so what did I do? I increased the time period by 4 times, okay? So let's see what will happen here, right? Now A1 will be equal to pi by 2 into 10 raised to 3 radians per second. So I'll get a coefficient here, okay? So the same thing here, right? So next 2 times pi by 2, which is pi, which comes here, okay? Sorry, this has to be greater. Okay, so next 3 by 2 times pi by 2, which is here, and next will be this one. Okay, so this will be the fourth coefficient now when I increase the time period by 4 times. Okay, I go on increasing. If I make it 8, right, so there will be intermediate lines here as well. Okay, so the first one will become the 8th one if I make the time period equal to 8 milliseconds. Okay, if I go on increasing it further and further, what happens is this discrete coefficient will go on becoming continuous. Okay, so and ultimately what you get is, instead of getting a line spectra, you have infinite number of frequency components, okay, so which are filled here, right? So when ultimately in the limit, okay, what happens is all the intermediate lines will be covered up and the corresponding time signal, right? So this is what happens when T0 tends to infinity. Okay, so the signal will become aperiodic. So what you see in the window is only this. Okay, so this is your x of t now. Okay, so this is what is developed, okay, in the textbook. So this is the beginning of the 4th chapter in the textbook, right? So he starts from Fourier series representation. He takes the signal and this is what he does, right? He goes on increasing the period, and in the limit, so we'll see that you will have all the intermediate frequency components. Okay, so have infinite number of frequencies. Okay, right? So this is nothing but your Fourier transform, right? The summation here in the previous case, since now you don't have discrete frequencies, you have continuous set of frequencies, right? So the relation now becomes this. Okay, so this is your synthesis equation, right? They are just names, don't worry about those. And you have analysis equation, how to find the value of spectra. These are nothing but your A case, in the aperiodic signal case. Okay, and this is called as a Fourier transform of signal x of t. Okay, so this is similar to your x of t being equal to summation a k e power minus j k omega naught e power a k j e power j k omega naught t, right? So the coefficient corresponding to each frequency is now x of j omega divided by 2 pi, right? So this is your a k now, not just x of j omega, it is x of j omega divided by 2 pi. Okay, and this is called as an analysis equation, or this is nothing but a Fourier transform of an aperiodic signal x of t. Okay, so now x of t is aperiodic. Okay, it's not a periodic signal now, it's an aperiodic signal, right? So the theory he has developed it very beautifully. So just to find, so I am going to give you an aperiodic signal and you find out the Fourier transform of it, right? So x of t is e power minus a t u of t. Find the Fourier transform of this signal. Okay, so to find out the Fourier transform, so you substitute in this equation. Okay, now x of t is e power minus a t e power minus into u of t e power minus j omega t dt. Okay, so u of t is 0 for t less than 0. Okay, so when you multiply with 0, so the whole thing will be 0, right? So whenever t is less than 0, the integrand will go to 0, right? So you have nothing to worry about. So you can change this integral and write this. Okay, for t greater than 0, anyway it is equal to 1. So e power minus at into 1 will be equal to e power minus at. So if you want me to explain it more clearly, so this I can split it, this integral. Okay, so this integral is 0 because u of t is equal to 0 in this interval, and here u of t is equal to 1. So this will be nothing but 0 to infinity e power minus at. Okay, so we'll get x of j omega is equal to what? Right now, so suppose if you want to find out, so this is the signal that you are seeing, right? So if you plot this, so you get a signal of this kind. Okay, so an exponentially decaying signal. I am assuming, of course, mod a is less than 1. Okay, so when that happens, so it starts with 1, okay, and goes on exponentially decaying. Okay, so if you want to find out the component, right, the sinusoid cos and sine whose frequency is, let's say, 2.5 radians per second, 2.5 kilo radians per second. Okay, so if you want to find out the value of that sinusoid, all you have to do is substitute omega equal to 2.5, right, and then you will get an amplitude as well as the phase. Okay, so phase is nothing but shifting to the left or right, okay, and amplitude is nothing but scaling of those sinusoids. Okay, so we'll stop here and we'll look at the modulation theorem or modulation property, right, so which is very very important because that single property covers whole of your communication. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you.